So, he has risen. Hi, I'm Zachary Exum. Welcome to Left Behind. Unfortunately, this episode isn't going to be what I wanted it to be because my internet's been down for nearly a week now. And so I can't make a proper video. But I thought I'd still talk since, episode is due and it is Easter. And I've been thinking for the past while now that there's a issue with the way modern Americans are looking at Christianity. Now, I'll say right off the bat that Christianity is not inherently a problem. It's like any religion, it's just something you believe in, and there are good Christians just as there are good Muslims in any other religion. But there's a new form of Christianity that I see on the rise, and it has nothing to do with this book. How do I say this? So for decades, the far right has captured the attention of evangelical Christians, and just hardcore Christians in general, especially white ones. And a lot of this I feel like is through the means of televangelists. That and the segregation of churches allows for racism to spread, and the televangelists only care about money. And how do you win the money of the hearts of American people? You tell them the same things over and over again. These concepts of American exceptionalism, which, just to summarize, American exceptionalism is sort of the ideas that America was sort of founded on: laissez-faire capitalism, the idea of a democratic republic, our ideas of like freedom, but also like freedom for a specific type of person, wink, and sort of taking what you want and viewing this place as like a paradise where you can just do what you want and you have this right by God. American exceptionalism, is what has been used to push American imperialism. How we slaughtered the indigenous population, took over half of Mexico, took over Cuba, the Philippines, etc., etc. We still meddle in Latin America today, as well as the Middle East. All that. But it's not just that a lot of modern Christian groups aren't focused on this book, and instead are focused on the values of American exceptionalism, is that this has happened before. If you look back at the First and Second Great Awakenings in the 1800s, it was just propaganda to get people to be more conservative and more Christian. The fears of alcoholism, the fears of prostitution, and the fears of anyone who wasn't white. All of these things, all of these fears were put into the propaganda that Christians were making in the 1800s. And you see this exemplified in religions like Mormonism. Mormonism is a form of Christianity that is fixated on America. They believe in the story of the Nemites and the Lamanites, which is a lost tribe of Israel story, which basically gives claim to Europeans having control of the Americas, which is wrong. And within that claim, they also have the Mark of Cain, which is a whole ordeal, and basically says that anyone who isn't white is inferior. Now, Mormons say that they don't believe that anymore, but that is how the religion lasted for a very long time, most of its existence, and how the people who started it wanted it to be, for sure. And of course, I'll link a great video by a YouTuber called Knowing Better that covers Mormonism at length. But it's not the Mormons that are the problem. Like I said, I feel like there's this new form coming that's very dangerous. something that may cause a lot of what we're already starting to see, and that's radical Christian terrorism. And it's hard to even think about things like that. But look at the family. Now, if you don't know, there's an organization, a Christian organization, almost a youth mentoring type deal, that has very, very close ties with the United States government. There's actually a Netflix documentary mini-series documentary about it. But basically they preach a type of Christianity that isn't denominational, like Catholic, Protestant, whatever. They don't even look or read the Bible at all. They have a book called Jesus, or they'll say like just Jesus or something like that, and it's just the things that Jesus said. And their values, they're just putting this hyper-capitalistic, hyper-America first model into the kids that they mentor. You know, saying that it's very dystopian. Basically teaching kids that your place in society is mandated by God, almost like serfdom. And you just have to accept that and love it and work for your masters, work for the wealthy, or work for those who already have a lot. And you don't really need to think about morality or the tenets of religion. Not that those two things are the same at all, but what I'm saying is, it's just do what you're told, essentially. This just Jesus mentality, and I see that a lot on the right. This herd mind, like this herd mentality of everyone thinking the same with no actual evidence to back it up. It just is how it is. And that's the sort of mindset that I feel like this just Jesus movement is doing, and I feel like a lot of typically conservative people who happen to be Christian and are younger are falling into this trap and practicing this new form of Christianity that doesn't look anything like the original form, which isn't surprising. You know, so many American Christians say that the values of America, specifically the conservative sides of it, are modeled in this book when they're not, and why would it? This book was written by mostly Jews that lived in the Middle East and Africa 2,000 years ago. Why would this reflect anything to do with the United States of America? It doesn't. They want to believe a certain thing, and they're using the name of Jesus to justify it. And if you look at radicals that go out and do things like mass murders, or forms of actual white supremacist terrorism, and if they refer to Christianity, they refer to it a lot in these ways, the same ways that you see it referred to by top conservatives and a lot of televangelists. And it's just something I wanted to put in the minds of people, just something to think about as violence continues to be on the rise in recent years, specifically white supremacist terrorism, and how just so many people, you know, their beliefs don't actually make sense. They're just justifying it using the mandate of God, you know, medieval thought. You know, I hate to even say something like that because of the stupid backlash or something like Joe Biden's dumbass saying Neanderthal thought. He has no understanding of Neanderthals. He was being ableist, honestly. But what I'm saying is the ideology and the mindset that these people have is very literally medieval thought. Medieval, God mandated this reality. We will suffer with this model. And so will you. So with those heavy words, I'm going to hope that my internet comes back soon so I can get back to proper production of videos and hope that this country doesn't become a bloody mess. Because, like I referenced the 1800s, I think we all know what happened in the 1800s that had a lot of these ideas wrapped up in it. Yeah, Happy Easter, the whole rabbit thing is from paganism.